welcome to the stream. I hope you're all doing awesome. I hope you're having a good Sunday and just relaxing. And just here to hang out and chill with us. I have the lovely Lady Rain and the beautiful Clumsy Momo here. Why is it so loud? Wow. I was like, why is that so loud? I think my ears have gone away. Oh, jeez. But welcome, thank you so much for that raid. I'm gonna check the sound thing, because I don't know if that killed anybody else. But welcome, Jet Rambler and Hollow. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the raid. It looks like we got like a double, triple shout out. I don't know, something like that. It looks like the one bot did it twice, even though I told the other bot not to do it anymore. It did it too. Cray cray. But thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay, that's better. I did adjust the sound some. Just in time before Rain screamed. But Jet Rambler, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Thank you again, Hollow. Thank you for that raid. Thank you for everyone being here. We're gonna play some Roots of Pacha tonight. Let me go get the girls. Hi, ladies. We are live.
Hello?
Hi. Shit again.
Sorry, I had to for shits and giggles.
Oh boy.
Actually, I wonder.
You know nothing, right? Let me just scroll down to here. You forget for the shout out, Jeff. 4 shout outs. I love the Frosty Tool message. Do you? I'm glad you like it. It's usually pretty accurate. It uses the messages you post for your stream title plus like what you've been playing, and it kind of makes an assumption on what kind of person you are, and it's pretty cool. But then I also programmed it to do it from the perspective of a cat. So I have that doing the cat things. I have my magic 8-ball doing the cat things. Of course, our fighting and our boss fights and everything is cat things, except for the cookies.
Cookies.
Maybe I should change cookies to Paul's. I don't know. Nah, we need one thing different. 8-ball. Let's see.
We're fighting for milk to go with the cookies.
Will Rain be good tonight? Question mark. Let's take a cat nap and ask a kid.
Is that the
Pretty
poll?
accurate. It's the 8-ball.
But yeah, we're playing Roots Pacha vibes. I'm also eating chips, so you have to excuse me. I have some baked crunchy Cheetos. 8-ball. Will Kimono bring her Uwu game? Consult your inner cat. I don't know, Mama. What does your inner cat tell you?
Yeah.
You got me at okay. That one's on me. Free sticker! All the stickers.
No, I'm just waiting for you to start the game.
I know. I don't know what that is. We're just here to talk to each other, right? For Hollow? Okay. Alright, he'll have to pick out another one. He picked out one Friday, so he'll have to pick out another one. Single player, right? Just kidding. I wonder if
You bitch.
I
If you had me wait a whole hour to then switch to single player.
Oh, I didn't tell you.
No,
Guess you're just
thank you, right
guessed.
away.
Just kidding. You should be able to join now. Do you need the code, probably?
If it's
Copy.
the same one,
No, let me put it in the chat here.
Also, hi everybody.
Huh?
I said also, hi everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, if it's for me, I pick Halloween one, and then I'll have the current ones. So you're gonna pick the Halloween and the Pikachu, right? I still gotta write down what everybody picked. Mono live. There's 8-Ball. Mono is an amazing streamer that everyone should follow and support. Tactically, yes. 8-Ball does Mono live. You didn't do the exclamation point. Let's see. So you need Pika and Halloween. Or a Hollow. Those are the stickers you redeemed. And then I'm gonna have to go back and look at Friday and ask everybody what they wanted, because I don't remember Friday.
You don't remember, how convenient.
I don't know what happened Friday. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't there. I wasn't trying to trigger again. Hello. Okay.
Shocky's the only other one from Friday. So.
Yeah. But
Followers turned down.
Shocky? Okay. I thought there was somebody else.
No.
I thought
Hello, but
Shocky. I think he said Pika, I think. I don't
Right, I
remember.
have a doggy. A gift from Jelrod.
Time to go cook food and do stuff. Have a wonderful stream, and thank you. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you for the raid again. Very much appreciated. Welcome everyone from Hollow Stream. I am a variety streamer. I stream mostly chill games, and then Friday night community games, and the occasional art streams. So,
oh man.
let's see.
I received some seed.
Maybe he did. I don't remember. I'll have to ask again, or just go back and watch the VOD.
I received some. What is this?
Okay. So we're hospital.
How do I go to inventory?
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Oh.
Oh, no, that's no.
Oh.
Hi.
You can forget you can use these things and call your animal. I think
You can what?
you can use the little horns and call your animal.
What horn?
Like outside your house, if you have a house, or anywhere on the
Outside my
thing.
We all have house, yeah.
I think that's my house. So I don't know if you can do it from my house.
I came out of this one though.
Other than that, yeah, that's your house.
Try this one.
But my dog was in there, so that was mine house. The other one.
Yeah. Why was I in your house?
I don't have a mount. It says.
Well, maybe you gotta go saddle up one real quick and then you'll have one.
I don't remember how to do stuff.
They're in here, Mama. So come in here.
Where's here?
Ah! In here.
Right here?
Come in here.
Stop.
Peta. Come in here and talk to the animals and pick you a mount.
Oh.
Just right click.
I don't want
And it'll
that
ask you if you want
before.
to do a saddle. Get the little ram guy. I think he was yours anyway, the little ram.
I need to.
Oh,
feed-
yeah.
I don't
You
know
just-
how to
Right click.
talk. Right.
There you go.
Hey. Choco, 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 choco.
Aha. What are you doing in the bushes?
I'm cleaning up the shit that I keep running into.
How do I use the sickles and whatnot?
Guys, welcome to the stream.
There's
Thank
so
you for
much
being
meat.
here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we didn't concentrate
what are the
always.
action keys? Because I don't know what the action keys are.
Left click.
Tab does stuff. The numbers across the top do stuff. The escape key does stuff. And then you can literally just like E. E is to switch between like your tools or whatever thing you're on.
That's what the tab is also for, like if you're on your tools, then you can just
Yeah. And you can
cycle
E
through, but
between
it's
the
easier to
seeds.
E.
You can also just literally physically click on the things in the bottom bar too. New idea. Build a sweet home for a small creature. Ooh. Small creature.
I don't have the flower seed.
I have them. Or I have this. It's a red. Oh, I have tomato seed. I have all kinds of
Thank you so much for the 71 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated.
I don't think they're gonna work.
Okay. Oh wait, it actually says it on top.
Seed bag. Okay, so actually we are in summer, so they should be fine.
But wait, how do I get the info? Oh no, that's the kill. You can hover over. I don't get why I can't see them. Like,
Ooh,
we had
water.
a seed basket, right? And I can't transfer it? Weird. Oh, there they are. I have a spring carrot.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't wanna.
Tomato is summer or spring, so that could work.
Yeah, I didn't realize that for a second. I just changed my little rollout.
Thank you so much, though, Jeff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here, I gotta push the buttons. There. Hype, hype, hype.
Oh,
Thank you! 71 months is a long time.
There you go. Okay. Now what?
Whee! I upgraded my water thing to a bucket.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, Momo, but we have a little thing up here in the ground.
Up here in the ground. Well.
That's not a well. It's a water.
It's a water. It's like a sprinkler, but it's a plant pot with holes in it.
Yeah, it goes all the way around.
It does the whole radius of the thing with it'll auto water. We can't really tell because it's raining right now, but it auto waters.
That's cool.
Okay. Where's the other person at?
I guess I should go fish, huh?
If you want to. So many people.
You should probably talk to Zeta.
That's what I'm trying to find, Zeta. Not visiting today.
Ooh, Zelda?
They're not visiting today.
Oh.
Where is she?
They're not here today.
Oh.
Some people come from other locations now.
I forgot.
I'm guessing because it's raining. Ah.
I think she's from a different tribe.
Right. But it's raining, so maybe that's why.
In the village right now, or
They're outside or inside.
Because it's raining. I'll catch.
region.
Netting. Oh, I didn't escape that fast. Dang it. That's what I get for not focusing. Or for focusing, however you look at it.
Little mammoth so much.
My little mammoth.
Oh, that's right, I got a tomato.
My mama.
And I decided I needed to go.
My
Oh, they finished the fence.
Look at Mama.
Oh.
They finished the fence to keep the kids from falling in. Weird.
Oh,
New
I need
fish.
20 wood and 5 fur. Okay. Good for her. Any mushroom, any herb, and 10 hardwood. Okay.
I see. Where is that? Where's the path? There it is. You're determined to find stuff. Not what I need. Mama, if you remember how we're supposed to expand our bags, please let me know, because I have no clue.
No idea. I haven't played this game in what, 6 months? No, I honestly have no clue. Google it.
No
please.
palm trees.
Expand bag. Pacha. Upgraded belts from Jesus. So, you have to go to Jesus and upgrade your belt or something. Oh no?
What?
You have to go to Jesus and upgrade your belt.
Oh.
Oh no, there's a race day on Saturday.
Was it the ostrich race or something?
Uh-huh.
I don't know how I remember that.
Let's see.
On Monday, it'll be the cave painting festival, apparently.
Working now. Oh, wrong thing.
Wait.
I was just hoping there would be a thing here, but there's not.
I have to hunt probably for the pelts, right? Or fur. Maybe we have some.
Because the fur does what to helps you expand your bag, right?
Oh, I don't know. No, it was a thing they asked for.
Oh, yeah.
Quest?
Yeah, I have a bunch of fur on me. Who was it again?
I don't know if it's personal or not. I think Nook needs fur and hardwood. I have the hardwood. Just don't have fur.
Yeah, because I was gathering for last stream for somebody. Yeah, it must have been Nook.
Probably for him. And then
If
for
you...
Ada.
Nook needs... Yeah, I have both the wood and the fur for him. I just gotta find him.
Oh, he's in the big tent.
Okay.
Yeah, they're dancing away.
Or did he go to sleep now because it's nighttime?
Maybe. And Ada was mushroom and hardwood.
Let's see.
Probably a herb?
Where is he at? Not in here. I'll have to do it in the morning. Yeah, I'll probably have to do it in the morning because it's 10:20.
Ada still in there? The one with the white hair?
No. Everybody going to bed.
Lots of gooey go.
And if you don't take care of your animal and you send it to bed and all that good stuff, it'll disappear if you leave it in the wild and get fleas.
What? How do I return home?
Yeah.
Would you like it to return your mount home? It will go back except.
Yeah. I found out that the hard way and Rain had to cure my pet because it had fleas.
Yep.
Momo is not sleeping. Go to
Oh no,
sleep.
sorry, I was
Go to
playing with my
sleep.
dog.
Sweet little thing.
Doesn't-
Oh, I did pet your dog while you were gone. It trusts me. I pet the heck out of it.
Nice. It doesn't trust me yet.
You gotta get it to trust you so it'll follow you around.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely just yelled at Monty and called him Mono.
Called him my name.
What?
I'm here, time it. Okay, run. Artist is here.
Hello, mother.
Oh god.
Just back for a sec. Thank you, Jeff, for the extra sticker. You can find the list of commands here. Okay, why does it do that? I don't want a list of commands displayed, Botrix. Butthead. Told you not to do a list of
Where's
commands.
my dog? There's my dog.
Botrix is evil.
Eat something. Can I feed it? Don't have food for it. Need to find a fishy.
Pocho, how do I squat?
Oh no, why did I pick that up? I accidentally picked that up.
The forest. Real world problems in the forest. Hey, Pupper.
And steal a fishy.
See, look! I just petted Momo's dog. And he danced for me.
Oh, yeah, it's so cute when he does that.
Mm-hmm.
Thing up.
Let's see.
I want a fishy for my dog.
Mm-hmm.
How do I fish? Do I even have a rod?
You don't need
Yeah, I can help you.
You just go into the water.
Oh, right, you have to go into the water. There's the cute guy. Oh, no, he's not. Never mind.
We can talk about this later.
That was. I don't remember who I liked. This one was blocked. It's not a nice guy. And I know the
I
other
think
one.
I had gel rod, I thought.
Oh, the clan needs more prosperity. Crap.
Yeah, we need to donate more to the thing.
I can't make the idea until we donate more.
No more. Oh, Jesus Christ, we need 52,000?
Mm-hmm.
How do we get that, though? Because that's not the contributions, that's a different thing.
Mm-hmm. Maybe prosperity is like selling your crops. Redeem black cat ears? Okay.
Herbs, I believe, they're in the yellow box.
There you go. Black cat ears. And I'll turn off this so it doesn't... Or remove that so it doesn't blend in as much. Oy. It's like dark in here, I think.
That. I organized
yeah.
some of the stuff.
So yeah, I have all the stuff that what's his name needs, but he's like, nope, not enough contributions. Like, okay, whatever.
It's not contributions, it's
How do I take one?
Prosperity.
There we go. I got it. Yeah.
Oh, how do you increase
Right,
prosperity?
In the you have to donate in the pot lock thing.
No, I think that's the contributions.
Yeah, that's just.
It's the different color though.
It's purple versus the hand thing. The hand is like red.
I literally have a herb and it says missing herbs.
Maybe
just any herb, and I have the red one, the rosebud thing.
Maybe I have to get a green one?
I'll just take parsley, yeah. See what that does.
Oh yeah.
Alright, Jay.
Because the parsley
Oh,
says
rosehips doesn't act.
it's
Isn't
medicinal
under.
herb or tummy herb, but
Yeah.
it's not herb or something.
Yeah, it just has to be herb.
There we go.
Yay. Yeah, I do need to grab this guy.
Supposed to give 3 smoked fish to Zealk.
3 of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have 2. Let me go catch some more fish.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, Jay! Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing awesome. I feel like my hedgehog just shredded my arm with her quills. Oh no, that sounds terribly painful. Drink water? Okay. Does this count? Slushy?
Sometimes.
Yeah. And you? I'm doing good. Just relaxing. Playing some games.
It's okay.
Trying to figure out what my goals are.
I'll just be the fisher.
Okay.
I have 2 fish on this filter right now.
See.
I have one.
Where's
They're
my
being
pet?
smoked right now.
Oh. Okay. I don't remember how to.
I didn't mean to do that.
How to. Andex? Oh, okay. Andex is for reeds. And stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have a mount to call. Where's my mount?
Yeah, because you send it back to the shed. It didn't work for me either. You have to get it in the shed every time.
Oh, when you send it back, you lose its saddle and
Yeah.
such. That's so dumb.
Gotcha.
But technically, you can take a different mount every time. Probably.
Good, good, good.
I don't think so.
So how's
I
things in
mean-
life and stuff going, Jay?
I can, because now I can take the other one. Apparently.
Yeah, you can use any of them.
Or you can use any of them.
The jungle is so dark.
Sorry. We have one of our guys joining us again for D&D, and my our DM was saying, "Hey, he's gonna be joining as a Dragonborn," but instead it autocorrected to Dragon Ball.
Oh no.
So now we're curious as to what a Dragon Ball Paladin will be like.
Dragon Ball Z kind of paladin. So we got like what does the paw do? I guess that one's not ready yet. Or we've already done. Because I think you can read the. Well, maybe you can't. Maybe you can only read it the other day because I activated it. Otherwise, it does nothing over here.
Easy.
There we go.
Okay.
Befriending Beast completed. One with the wild completed. Open details. Sharing with animals. 2 to 4 prophecies realized. Better together. 1 4 prophecies realized. Keeper of seeds. 2 4. 4. Food for next season completed. So which one's the closest? Keeper of the seeds. They found many plants for their this is yet to happen. They even grew trees from seeds to plant in their fields. This is yet to happen. So these are just events that happen on their own in the game, and then it's recorded here.
Oh, Flint Hammer. Talk to Acre. Finish, it says. That's why I don't have that.
I like Dragon Ball more than Dragon Ball Z. Oh, we forgot to catch the Pokemon. Did you catch it, Jeff? No? You didn't catch it either. Dang it.
Here's your new tool. Yay. That's why I didn't have anything to do, like, for rocks.
So you haven't made your tools yet?
No, I do, but I was wondering why I didn't have something for rock. And I remember having one, but it was at Ada.
There's Rain's pet.
Upgrading it.
Rain's smoking fish! Go give the Zook. I had my hands full with 10 spiky kids. No!
Mama!
Fish!
So he tried to murder you?
I don't know how it's supposed to get to you.
With the spikes?
Maybe just in the chest? I don't remember.
Oh, here.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Alright, where is Zelk? What does he even look like? I don't know.
Hurry it. Mama already told me, and I already forgot.
Doesn't trust me by far.
I already forgot, Momo. How do we
Oh,
expand our
your
bags?
is here in a field. What?
How do we expand our bags again?
Oh, shit. I forgot her name. Jizu.
Jizu? Okay. So that's gonna be... Okay, so they're down there. Good to know. So they do clothing and stuff. Do we even have the stuff to do it yet? I don't know.
Zelk is
Boop.
working on a new ID.
Did your hedgehog calm down yet, artist? No. No, no.
What happened to it?
It's destroying her arm and, such. They're like very spazzy creatures. I had no idea they get like that when they get mad.
Not me over here, just making a shit ton of bean patties.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I can contribute them all.
It's getting late. Okay. Have to send my mom back, I suppose.
I think it's okay as long as it's...
As you're writing me today.
she's on like in the village. I think if
She's
you
doing an
go
imitation of a
outside the village,
Pokeball.
it doesn't work. Get so late to sleep.
Thank you so much for the 14-month 6. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated.
9 out of 16.
Let's see. Gotta find the buttons.
There you go. We're slowly getting the progress speed. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's the contribution second.
Nice. Yeah.
I guess it's a combination of everything, huh?
Yeah. I'll just keep making more. Oh, so you're on Big
Thank
U.
you so much. Thank you, thank you. I know, I've been on Big U waiting for you guys to go sleep, but yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was being a slacker eating my Cheetos.
Oh, the beans are doing well.
Woot.
Plant
Yes.
meat.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, 6.
Yeah. As long as you guys get me a shit ton of legumes, I'll sit there and make them all day.
Where do we get the legumes? Just picking them?
Yeah, it's just beans.
Yeah. I think I found a bunch of seeds in the woods, but I don't think that helps you.
A race is happening today.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I got 1 heart extra today with Yuki.
I'm not sure how I feel about fermented kale, so we're gonna find out how that goes.
Actually, I should pick that up. Oh, what was that?
10 different types of products.
Yep.
I heard an unfamiliar noise. Oh, maybe that was the level up noise.
That's the achievement thing for Steam.
Was it?
It was, my lady.
Yeah, because yours truly likes to process all the things that we make.
Oh. Where am I going again? Up.
We gotta talk to Oka, but I would like to water all the plants first.
Ah, it's that kind of that you. It's like a event day, like in Stardew.
I think so.
Okay, then I'll get the eggplant because I saw an eggplant emoji on the map. No rain, bad rain.
Not my fault, you said so.
It's not a sexual.
All I
thing,
can
it's
do
an
is ditch.
eggplant.
I know.
Exchange what?
Monty.
You will wind me up that I'm asexual. Yeah, don't make the face.
Oh.
So sassy today, Rain. So sassy.
That's
more
cool.
tomato seeds, actually. Do we still have these?
I can make room. Let me.
Yeah.
Water.
Okay, so you can do your first belt at 500, but it uses our hand things. The red hand symbol thingy. But you can, I'm not gonna do the second level because it costs 2,500. But the first level's only 500 if y'all want to meet her and get the first level expanded bag. That way we could each do the next level or whatever.
Sounds good.
Now I gotta figure out how I get to it. No. I want to drop my rocks. I want to figure out how to open my... Oh, it's tab. Oh, okay.
Lady.
You just tab between the rows, like Stardew. You leveled up? Yes, you did.
Alright, so fermenting takes forever.
Okay, okay,
Oh,
come back.
So cute.
I milked you. You're happy now.
That's at the campfire.
Yeah.
Wait, what is the exchange. You can exchange stuff.
Do y'all need the milk and the oregano? Can y'all make stuff with it, make it more valuable for us? Is that what we gotta do?
What is it? If I make things, yes.
You can exchange stuff with the white-haired lady also
Mhm.
for
Clothing?
hand thingies. No.
Yeah, that's what I. Oh, the white-haired lady can do the hand thingy too.
Yeah.
If you give her like lavender, she'll give you like 27
Cats?
hand thingies or rosemary mint. I think she's the one who gets all the herbs and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Maybe
need to talk
every-
to Jisoo, and she just went into the forest, so.
Oh.
That's where we get our stuff.
Okay, so I should put this ibex milk in something to do something? Or is it processing
No,
something?
just leave it in a thing for now.
And you'll process it?
Yeah. It's gotta ferment and sour cream.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got 19 oregano. Do we still need 19 oregano?
Yes. Always.
What for?
I don't know.
I mean, the oregano you can exchange with the white-haired lady.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about selling stuff to get our...
Well, that's why I'm trying to ferment and whatnot. But
yeah, but you can't ferment 20 oreganos.
No, but I can fry and fish.
Yeah. And we have 3 things of milk. So we got some stuff. Actually.
Oh, the gray-haired lady tells you the weather forecast. That's cute. I didn't know that yet.
Hello, peanut.
Are you ready for the race yet?
Yeah.
What is it, Jay? Where is the race at? Gonna be like in the bottom right or the...
Fire?
That's a campfire?
Oh, the center of town?
I'll just
Oh, I didn't mean to have that.
I don't remember how to do it though. Oh. Oh, it's
Okay, we definitely don't need
Oh, you do
21.
have to steer. Oh, jeez. How does one steer? Oh, okay. It's like an oldie game. Just button dash the shit out of things. What the fuck? This is really hard.
Oh, are you racing?
It's a space bar, and you just have to use the WASD keys to dash them downwards, I suppose. But you have to. Oh no, you can actually keep them pressed. It's a bit Flappy Birdie. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it now.
Yeah, I just went a really weird way.
Let's see. I need wood? No.
Just don't bump into shit or you have to recover.
Yep. I keep bumping into things.
Wild smoochums appeared.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's just the W and S actually.
Don't own that ball.
Oh really? Oh yeah, right. WS and spacebar.
Wiggles! Hi Wiggles, how are you? I hope you're doing awesome.
Alright, I got they could race though. That was an interesting practice. It was not great.
Yeah, it's gonna be we'll see. Okay, start race.
Just wait my mono.
How do I hit it?
You have to talk to her.
There. She wouldn't let me talk to her for a minute. Start race, even though I didn't practice, so I have no clue what I'm doing.
Fine. W and S to go up and down, and space to sprint.
Okay.
Don't tap it, just hold it.
Oh.
Fuck.
Oh,
I'm losing myself in the bushes. I don't know where I'm going. Does the little green thing slow you down too, or no?
No.
Just the
Oh,
logs.
it's the grass.
Oh my god, why did I pick the part that has all the thingamajigs? And how do you sprint?
It's the same space.
Oh.
Momo's over here just going through.
I'm just
Yeah.
like running through everything but what I'm supposed to. I just ran into a wall. Thingamajiggy.
Termites are fine, by the way.
Yeah.
You can run through them.
The termites you can? The big tall termite things?
Okay, I made it second. I'll take it.
I'm gonna make it in last place.
Yeah, go up. There you go.
Exhausted. Hey, I wasn't last. I was just next to last. But it was a great trip. Home from camping. Enjoyed it sitting in the lawn chair. Oh, I'm glad you had a good time camping. Lost Mona in the woods? Yes. Boop. Artist Boop J.
Oh, I got
I need a lot of practice before I can do that.
Ooh, ring, yeah. Can you wear it? How does that work?
What is that?
An accessory?
Oh. Interesting. Ring of the Trainer. That's new.
Yeah, it's some kind of accessory.
So how do you put it on your character?
+5 buff duration.
Where is it?
Does it automatically equip?
My inventory.
No, oh, it's one of those ones that you have to bind to it too.
You have to what?
Bind to it.
Well, oh, yeah, because we have the gentle touch bangle, but I don't see the ring. Where is the
Me
ring?
either.
It's not in my inventory.
You have to touch it. You have to like go over, like
I did.
select your bangle.
Oh, because it's the same slot.
Oh, what is it? Is this one better that we already have though?
Trainer. Worn by
Oh,
the
I got a
retreat.
brooch of the gatherer too.
5 temp buffs. 5
I'm gonna keep the gatherer one.
Nah, I'll just keep wearing this one for now.
Oh, I did the gatherer one, so I can get more. I forgot I had that one. Jay leveled up to level 1 lick me. Ah! I know I need a bath, but come on. I just deep got off my animal and just like didn't do nothing. Dismounted and dismounted. Oh, I bet we're gonna build something there.
Maybe.
Hi, doggo. You chewing on a bone? No, it doesn't trust me enough yet. Okay. I'm pretty sure we already contribute.
Or could we do the back thingy?
The back thingy.
Jizu.
Oh yeah, she's the bottom right tent.
Is she home?
I don't know. If she's
Yeah,
home.
she is. She's home.
I made a box trap, but I have no clue where to put it.
Ooh,
Strawberry
discovered
seed.
strawberry.
Ooh.
All the strawberry seeds. I'm Putting my gatherer brooch into use.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
Wait, did I spend no?
Butternut
Butternut
squash.
Heck yeah.
I didn't know you have to spend the contributions to
Yeah.
upgrade tools. I thought it
Yeah,
was like
yeah, that's okay.
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
it's a plan.
Okay. No, but I did a water bucket. I thought it was like you need a minimum of this to do this, but it's spending.
Yeah, I did my water bucket from a bag to a bucket, and then I figured,
Yeah.
and then I did my belt one notch or one set bigger.
And what do you need for that? For the belt, leather?
Just no, nothing. Just 500 500 hand thingies is what it cost. Wiggles! Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for the 1,000 biddies! Holy cow! Thank you, Wiggles. You didn't have to do that.
Contributing that food that we got.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to hear more about your camping trip, though. We didn't get any food pics this time. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here real quick and see if I can do the thing real quick. Like,
Yuki loves me, apparently.
Oh my.
Yuki?
But not you.
Why is my dog loving other people than me?
Yeah, loves me too. The black one doesn't yet, but
I was here last time you played, so.
the black one doesn't yet, but the other one does.
I think the black one belongs to someone else.
Eat. No, I don't want to eat it. I want to. No!
Don't eat my dog.
Oh my god! I brought a tomato to put in the thing, and I accidentally ate it. Yeah, I ate it.
Oh, that sucks.
So we need a tomato, Rain. I don't even know if we can grow them this time of year.
So how do I use the box trap, guys?
Don't know.
Oh.
I ate the tomato. Shame on me. Quote, these balls are... These balls that are trying to touch me. Oh my god. Want tomatoes, right? I ate the tomato that I was supposed to put as an offering, and it was the only tomato we had. I love little cherry tomatoes. I love the little sweet grape cherry tomatoes.
Nope, I don't like tomatoes.
I love tomatoes. I mean, my body doesn't, but I do.
I have a preference for strawberries. Count.
Others are still awake, but it's getting late.
I love strawberries and blueberries. All the berries. Raspberries, blackberries.
Some of my fish are almost done, so I'm like trying to do it before I go to sleep. Not gonna be able to wait for those because I'm
Also, after your food prep pick, I had to go get eggs and pick the strawberries. That's why you were cooking eggs. But yeah, I totally did food prep, but I went a little overboard and bought like all the things, but it's gonna be delicious.
Is Mono in bed?
Yeah, I'm in bed. See if I could show you my food prep.
We're just waiting on me.
I did take a picture of the actual like hamburger meals I made, but these were like the veggies and fruit meals I made with boiled eggs and strawberries and all kinds of goodies in there. So yeah. Huckleberries, elderberries, tea berries, and gooseberries. I don't think I've had, only one of those I think I've had is, I've had huckleberries. I like those. Gooseberries I don't think I liked, believe it or not. But I didn't grow up eating them, so. And I don't think I've ever had elderberries or tea berries. It's either huckleberries or elderberries I had. I don't know which one I had. But it's been like since I was a kid. What are you up to? We're playing some Roots of Pacha. What are you up to, Dreams? It's good to see you. How are you doing today? You doing awesome too? I hope. That looks tasty. Thank you, Wiggles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was very tasty. And it will be tasty. Because I like tasted everything as I was making them, of course.
Hey, 10,000.
Yay!
For the prosperity you need, by the way.
Yay! So I can go do the thing. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I gotta go to the tent and talk to him about the thingamajig. If he's there yet. Oh, there's like 500 pieces of oregano.
You know what? Shut your face.
I started selling them, by the way, because I find them all. I left you 20. I figured that's enough.
You can afford all of them.
Da da da. Hello there.
Oh,
Let's see. Talk about idea. Research! Cloth, that's what I need. Thank you for these materials. I'll go chat with Juke and see what we can come up with. So he's a chef and he needs cloth. Wonder what he's gonna make, like cheesecloth? Oh yeah, idea, cheesecloth. Working on this idea. Never heard of the game. What is it? And I'm always also off tomorrow, so I thought I would drop in. That's also, I'm glad you're off. This is called Roots of Pacha. It's like Stardew, but like caveman times.
Yeah.
He'll be back. Okay, artist, good luck.
Oh, Inza's not there today? Damn.
Zeke needs a day to finish.
It was
Ida
Inza,
needs a
right?
day to
Or is that
finish.
already? Oh, Jesus.
Talk to Zeta.
Where is Jesus?
Back.
Oh, there.
Oh wow, Zeta's way out there in the middle of nowhere. Okay, I'll go on a journey. I'll go on a journey to find.
That's Jack.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just watering all the plants.
Thank you. I'll take a shift tomorrow.
Me better, because I got a lot of fishing to do.
I know you do.
That's apparently my job in literally every game of play.
It's fishing, yes.
You're a fisher. Oh,
Yeah.
Fishing
You know how
pro.
much fishing I've been doing in Mystria?
I see you fishing. Hi, Shane. Welcome.
Bigger bell. There we go.
A wild Whiskash appeared. You want to poke catch a Whiskash?
So, Rain, if you didn't get the bigger belt yet, if you look where I am right now, that's
I
where
got
you
it.
can-
All the fishing? Yes. Uh-oh, did I just lose my ride?
I accidentally
I did. Let's not do that.
Do we have any goals?
Yes.
Right now, other than...
I'm going to talk to this person about an idea, and I'm pretty sure they're going to tell us how to make traps.
I do have it. I made a trap.
Did
I don't
you?
know where to put it.
Oh, I know where to put it.
Where?
You gotta...
In the forest?
No, up here in the thing where I'm at. See, look at my screen. See this spot on the ground with the bubbles and the sticks? That's where you put the trap.
Okay, but let me check where you are.
They're all over the savannah.
Oh, I never been there. Oh, wait, I have.
See, there's another one. They're all over the savannah.
How do I get there?
Top left of the
Oh,
village.
yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Northwest.
I have one. You can make them with flint and hardwood.
Where the heck is... Oh, she's moving. Don't be moving. That's cheating.
Let me see if I can.
I
make
have
more.
no
Just need
sauce
one
and
or do you
coffee.
need more? I could make one more. If I need it.
I just start with one and see what it does. Building a home for animals is such a great idea. I wonder if we could do something similar for a much smaller creature. You see, my people use a lot of beeswax and honey, but it is a challenge. Oh, also need a sunflower and wood. I had sunflowers, I thought, but I
have three
don't.
sunflowers with me.
Oh,
11.
I did the seeds. That's what I found.
Should
Okay.
I take them to Mono?
Yeah, if you want to take them up here and give them to Zeta, you totally can. Because you probably have wood on you.
I have 13 heart wood.
There.
Do you need normal wood too?
Just normal wood, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Ostriches, I love you guys.
We only have heart wood. Oh wait, I have normal.
Bonto
How
beans.
much do you need?
I don't remember. Let me look real quick. Sheen! Nobody
Yeah,
gets
probably
any
didn't get
Pokemon
mine.
today. Apparently not. Let me see if it said how much. Oh, 4 sunflowers and 12 wood.
I have 13, so I get. I'll come over. Before it's too late.
Mm-hmm. I'm just hanging out. Picking up things I find on the
Oh, I see.
ground.
Do you need it there, or because I see a trappy thingy here too? Should I put it here?
You can put it wherever you want. But then she's up here by the tree where the mammoths are.
It's really interesting. It's like
6 man, I really don't want to do a check bag tomorrow. No! Did you finally get your bag picked?
Yeah.
I was talking to 6, but okay.
Oh, I thought the belt thingy.
Oh, Rain, I found you some more poop.
Poop. Yay.
I
Got you
thought
some
bird
poop.
fruit.
The poop. Love the poop.
Now, it's so much better now that our bags are expanded by 1, because I can actually pick up stuff.
Raspberry is great because it's a remedy. I didn't want to eat that. I guess I can eat it.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah.
Shit, I accidentally clicked a tune.
Like 40%? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna hold you accountable. Let me guess, you're washing laundry. Looking. Anything else I can collect and take with me before I head
The
back?
mammoth song is so cute.
Those trap things are like everywhere. I wonder what we get to trap though. I'm really curious. What you're gonna trap, Mama?
I have a. Wait, what? Like, what am I gonna trap?
Mm-hmm. What you'll catch in your trap, you know what I mean?
All right, it's either I made a normal trap, so.
Oh,
not
more
a,
poop.
Not a bird trap.
Yes, we actually have a use for poop now, Mama. It's to turn into fertilizer for the garden. So, all those times we picked up poop and we're like, what the heck were we supposed to do with this? Now we know.
Okay.
Ostrich feather. Ooh. Mint.
We do need feathers. I don't remember what they're for, but we do.
I found mint.
I'm coming.
Yay.
Wait, where do I go? To the pink lady where you are?
No, she's at the very top of the map, near the buffaloes. Yeah, give her 4 buffaloes. I mean, 4 buffaloes. 4 sunflowers and 12 wood. Not buffaloes. Don't give her any buffaloes. She already has all the buffaloes around her.
Alright, I found her. Discuss idea.
Yeah, that's what
We
say.
need more prosperity
Yeah.
to do it. We need 55,000.
Oh, geez, okay.
We're pretty close. I got a bunch of stuff I can contribute.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to go tomorrow again.
Let's see. There's a feather. And there's more sunflower seeds. So, yeah, it used to give us the flowers or the food and the seeds, and now it only gives you the seeds for that item. Remember how it used to give us like wild tomatoes and wild everything? when you found the seeds. It doesn't do that anymore.
I think I just found 3 sunflower seeds.
Milk thistle.
Oh no, that was someone else.
Yeah, it gives you the seeds, but it doesn't give you the actual flowers. Lavender.
I just contributed a bunch of like flowers and stuff like that because right now we're not using it.
So, Mama, what did your trap look like when you set it up?
It's like a little box, and the one I put up next to Zeta is like a bird trap, so like a circle.
Oh, so there's different kinds.
So I have two different ones, yeah.
Cool.
So I think one is for like bunnies and rodents and such, and the other is for birds.
So you know, catch bunnies and birds.
Oh, I found more poopies. And milk thistles.
Yeah, I think it shows you like. Oh, there you are. Like what's available. Oh, I can see where the traps are too. I see that. That's cool.
I see something in the top left. I don't know what it is, but I think it's like
The
a
red thing?
resource. Well, no, the green one, like a bean.
Yeah, above that there's a red one.
I'll go get it.
Above that there's a red one. And the sunflowers I thought I already picked, but maybe I missed one. Oh, it's getting dark.
Yep. Oh, sesame seeds.
Yeah, thank you. I can make oil.
Hey, there's the trap. It's cool looking.
Did I pick it up?
It's a little trap.
No, it's on top of a trap thing, and I'm trying to pick the seeds. Oh, not ready for them. Never mind. These are. I have a lot of sesame.
It's getting dark.
That's okay. I'm planting it. So.
I don't see
Coming
the red
home
one,
with us.
no. Oh, there. Can I make it?
Yeah. We got plenty of time.
Horns.
Alright, I'm coming home with all the things I collected. He didn't even take my fur in the end. Guy that wanted the cloth. I forgot I can, like, shear the animals, too.
Oh, it's amaranth.
Wait.
Amaranthi. Coming home.
Where'd the other one go? Probably not in this barn, because this barn's still empty. Eventually got to befriend some ostriches and put them in the barn.
Oh, why do we get ostriches for eggs?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
I was just there and I was like, ooh, birds running.
Yeah. I haven't tried befriending them
I
yet.
wish there was like a mini map when you were walking.
Hi,
so
Ree.
you know where the frick you're
Hi.
I got stuff for you. I got poop and stuff.
Wait, you should help me.
Okay.
What time do
Put-
we have to be in bed?
Too.
I'm dropping off some horns and,
Okay.
actually,
You should water. I don't have much.
Okay, I'll go back.
I don't have any stamina.
what?
I have none. I used all my stamina.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no, we're not ending. We're not ending.
Oh, my thing. Let's go.
Water the
No.
rest of them, Mono.
Let's see.
Yours truly can't do shit.
Okay.
What needs watering?
The garden.
Anything that's not water.
Oh, the fermented sea kale is ready.
Oh, sweet.
Should I put it in the thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Transfer matching. From left. There we go. What are these though? Bright yellow flowers that can help heal colds. So
What do we
that's
use
kind
the
of like an
ones
herb.
for? Should I just donate it?
Mint is not in
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
them.
That's fine.
And then almonds. I'll just put the almonds and the olives in here too. I don't know.
Oh, it's almost dinner
Almonds.
time.
Oh shit.
Olives.
Go, bed, bed,
Oh
bed, bed,
no.
bed, bed, bed,
You
bed,
guys
bed,
didn't
bed.
Okay.
even water my plants.
I said
Oh, I thought you
tomorrow,
passed out.
but yeah. I was trying to like finish putting in all my stuff. No, I passed out at the bed. Oh
I
come on.
hope it's the same as in Stardew that you don't get penalized if you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember. I don't usually pass out. Yep, our
I mean,
prosperity is already there.
Walking back from carrying the red plant, so I couldn't water the crops.
Did you see that? Our prosperity is already at 57,000, so I think you can do your thing.
Yeah.
See, this is why I process all the things too.
Mm-hmm.
I fish and I smoke.
And you water.
Yep.
I'm a gatherer.
Painting festival. Oh, cool.
Waiting for Momo.
Well, we have to water before we go to the festival.
Mm-hmm. What do we do with the... No.
With the wood.
Feathers and fur. Mm-mm.
Leave them in the box for now.
Yeah.
I don't want to dance.
You have 24 poop, Rain. 24.
I know.
Are you processing any of it? Are you using your fertilizer?
No, I'm not. Look, I want a dash of fertilizer.
Why did I water what was already watered?
Oh shit, I need to pick up my bucket.
Yeah, because then you can water better.
Yep. Wait, they're not awake yet. Fuck. Time did they wake up? 8, probably?
Probably. I've decided to have my first margarita in a month. I want one. Sounds delicious. Watering's so much faster now.
Yeah, go pick up my water bucket.
And we have no seeds to plant, so... Oh yeah, we do.
Wait, is it because they all left for the festival, maybe?
Yeah.
Are certain seeds only certain times a year too?
Do you think the other
Yeah.
were they supposed to?
Yeah, okay.
No, I think all the people are gonna be at the cave.
I guess it's been like 2.5 weeks, never mind. I mean, still, it's been a while. Especially if you only treat yourself here and there.
Ooh, I kind of want to check my trap first.
Oh, maybe you can just check it on the thing.
Ada wants to tell you about what she found.
But I don't know if it's...
Research done.
But the one that I placed is really close, if that's not...
During his trip, he realized that different
I won't
clans
go further
could
into
trade
this.
for things. Talk to some.
It's just a quick check. It's... Oh, it is! It does have a trap thing in it. Red meat. Oh, it just works once? Oh, what?
Oh, that sucks.
You do get 4 red meat, but it's just a one-time thing.
Ugh,
You should put it in the blue box, and then I can smoke it later.
right? I'm sure I'll drink half, and the rest will go in the sink. Oh no. Because you'll decide it really wasn't what you wanted, huh? You just like think you want it, but then once you have it, you'll be like, meh. Meh.
Do we have alpacas yet?
No. I don't think so.
Afro! Hi! Welcome to the
Songs are too
stream!
cute, man. The songs are so cute.
I'm going to the cave.
What cave?
There's a cave thingy.
Cave.
There's an event at the cave. So we gotta go to the cave.
Yes.
You need
Alright.
to empty the bird trap and
That's the wrong path.
wait, is it here? Am I going the right way? Yes. Oh, I found you more poopies on the way.
That seems to be what I do when I drink at home.
Oh, it's white meat.
Yeah, it's different than when drinking with
So
somebody.
The bird trap is white meat and the other trap is red meat. Right.
Sorry, I'm being friends with the babies.
Maybe.
I'm just gonna
Baby
collect
faxes.
pine cones while we wait for Momo.
What? What, Mono?
We're waiting on you, so I'm collecting pine cones.
Where do I go for the cave?
All the way opposite side of the map, in the forest up the hill.
Do I go up and then to the right, or from the main?
Uh,
or down
it's
and
the-
right?
it's from the main map. It's top right.
Okay.
And it's like I had to think about it. I was like, which way does it do?
Yeah, because it's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah.
All the strawberry seeds.
And then okay, and cave is on the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a really long path up there.
I thought that was a shortcut that we
No.
found.
It's a
No,
shortcut
only way
back.
home.
Okay.
It lets you shortcut home, but not there. I got all the butternuts.
Hello there, little lemmies.
Some more eclamp. Whatever that eclampane is. I don't even know. It's some herb thing.
The little boar. Oh, there's a white boar. That's so cool.
Well, I need the pomegranate for the offering.
Yeah.
Did we get any more tomatoes for the offering yet? Or we can even grow them, can we?
No, I think we're still in the process of growing them.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Yes! Let's go!
Yay.
Okay. Do we talk to everyone or?
Yeah, looks like it.
Wait, you can talk twice. He has a lot to say.
Zelk, oh my god, stop talking!
Yeah, I know, right? I just want to talk to everyone and go, but he's like,
Don't talk to Zelk, he talks too much.
That's okay. I'm just skipping through it anyway.
Same.
You do
Would
talk
you
a
like
lot.
to hear Lion's story? Not yet.
Don't forget the top ones that are on the.
I think she's the person I have to talk to start the festival.
No, it's Teti. That's oh, the lion story. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought because I said don't forget the ones on top because I did. And
Oh, what the heck?
there's
What
some
is this?
people there too. What?
Oh, you're painting.
Wait, let me see.
Oh.
Ooh. Where do you do that? Aw, go make your mark.
What am I doing?
Looks like there's empty.
And then how do I do it?
With your mouse?
A little spooky in here. Oh, Joe Rod.
I don't know. It's not doing anything.
Either the hand or there's a cloth and a hand. I think with the hand you paint. Wait,
That's what I
maybe we don't have
thought.
colors.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
we have
don't
colors.
have colors yet.
No, you just, if you click on the pot, it'll give you colors.
Oh, you have to
Oh,
have a
there it
color.
goes.
Yeah.
So what cave painting I make? Did it involve a thorn and a mouse? Let's see.
Oh Jesus, really pixelated.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Thank God for the little clock.
No, let me draw right there. I have to
What?
draw a straight line.
Cloth?
Uh-huh. This cloth is your eraser.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
What?
and you can move it.
What?
Yeah.
You can zoom in and whatnot.
I just noticed that. Shit, I started so on the wrong side. I don't want
I
to
know.
restart it though.
Hmm.
Can you make it bigger? Like the no, you can't.
See, you won't let me draw on that edge. I have to draw a straight line. Oh well.
Look at us all focusing and almost not talking because we're arting.
Make it artigs! Hmm.
So focused.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yay, art. Yeah. It's cave drawings. Yep.
I hate how tiny of a brush it is.
Yep. That's why I said, like, why can't we alter the brush, please?
Let's see. Oh, let me go that way either. Can't tell what that is.
You're doing artistic, how do you call it? You're doing the... Why can't I find the word?
Where's the heart?
What do you call it again when you go, you can barely recognize what it is? Abstract, there you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of abstract art, to be honest. I like surrealism.
This is pixel art.
I am not very good at pixel art.
Me either. I mean, I imagine you could sit here for an hour and like make a gorgeous cave drawing. I wonder if they'll just like stay here though. That'd be kind of cool. Where's the heart? Yes.
House, don't suddenly start making noises. I don't like that.
Wow, you don't really get a very big area.
No, I want to draw a tail and I can't. I have no room to draw a tail. It won't let me. It's like I just want a tail. I mean, like, what is that supposed to be the tail? Like, no. Its pose reminds me of Cheshire Cat. It's like
I love how they thought that cavemen had all these colors.
They could have. Comes from different flowers and stuff.
Honestly, they just had red.
Alright, I think I'm just gonna call it done because I can't draw a tail. I mean, I could put pink in the ears, but...
Mine's pretty cute. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Aww. Okay, peek at. Oh, you can't look at yours. Yeah.
Really? I won't let
Yeah,
you.
you have to finish it, I think.
So I can't put anything down here. Or out there, or anywhere to draw a tail. He's a tailless cat. He's a bobcat.
Oh,
There you go.
I see the cat. Nice. Nice, Mono. You wanna come look at mine?
Yes. Where's yours? You did that? Oh my god.
I did.
That's amazing. It's a zebra and a giraffe horse thing.
Giraffe horse thing. Yeah, I didn't make his neck long enough.
I know what it is though. It's a zebra and a giraffe. Wow, yours is so good. And I just did this kindergartner cat. Oh my gosh, let's see what Rain does.
I'm still really working on mine.
That's okay, I gotta finish talking to people. A little spooky here, I'm scared. This guy is scared. Gel Rod.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Is that the one you're romancing? Gel Rod?
Yeah.
Two kinds of artists.
Honoring our accomplishments is a good reason to be together. Let's see, I don't know who I want to romance in this game. They all scare me. Boga has such a great rhythm, doesn't she? Juke, painting is fun, even if I'm not great at it. I'll catch. Ah! I don't.
Artist not having any luck there.
That's so weird. Two kinds of artist. Giraffe rig, yeah. Pokemon.
Oh, Mono, did you talk to the people up here yet?
No.
Playing the drums.
Oh, I think I did. I don't remember who I talked to be honest. I'd be like, this would be a good time to pick a mate, but I can't find one.
Oh, that's cute. Aw, you know what? The character designs of the people like that you click are so much better than the characters we
Too
have.
bad the wolves didn't join us. Aw.
Yeah.
They'd love to howl here. Aw.
I mean, and the girls are so cute. The guys are like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess Jorod is cute-ish.
I mean, Zelk is okay if you want like a burly looking dude.
I don't like
I know.
Maybe I'll just go for a chick. I don't care. I mean, Jisoo. I really like Jisoo. She's cute and.
I think Jesus is taken though.
Is that the blonde one with the ponytails?
No, Jesus is the one that does our upgrades.
Or is that
oh
a
yeah,
kid? That's probably a kid with the pigtails. Ivon? Or Yvonne? She's pretty.
How is Etta?
Yeah, she's
I
alright.
same size.
I wish there was a fill button because I am not happy with what I'm doing, so I'm like trying to
I
missed
it too. I missed the fill button as well.
Mana, the walls look cool even if they're closing in on
Most
me.
of them have beards, which I don't do.
Yeah, I mean the girls look cool. The guys, I don't
I like
know.
Eloy. If Eloy's free,
Noke isn't free, right? He's the one that cooks, right?
Knock is good. Yeah.
Knock.
Harry is cute too. This one looks longer, but
Oh, I said my painting was pretty, I think.
oh really?
But your painting is pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said to me too. Fuck you. Okay, she's nicer. This girl's nicer. She said it looks great.
Okay. Okay. Your painting looks great. I guess I go with Knock. I don't know.
No sleeping, Jeff. No sleeping.
He looks closest to Elliot.
Who? Knock?
Yeah. There we go, normal dance. I wait on you guys. Jeff is sleepy. No.
I don't sleep in this family.
Are you nearly done yet, Rain?
I can't believe I've almost been here for 2 hours already.
Oh, Ibon is cute too. I like her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you like her too? And Reese is cute too. There's a lot of cute girls. Where are
The girls are cute, yeah.
Okay, Yuke is cute. He's next to the...
Yeah, I thought he was alright. He looks like some, like, Greek god-looking guy or something. Duke.
What do you think of this guy? I like his style like this, but I don't like it when you click on him.
Yeah, I like him far away.
Exactly. You don't like the
Jared.
Garrick.
What's his name?
Garrick.
Yeah, Garrick.
He looks better far away. He's not bad, though. Alright, I'm gonna take a stretch break real quick while Rain finishes her masterpiece for us. Not be right. No rush, Rain. No rush. You have all the time.
Momo seems to be rushing me. Alright.
Look at see what masterpiece she made in like 2 seconds. That's because she did the zoom in thing.
With MS Paint,
She did the zoom in thing. I didn't zoom in at all.
No, I did zoom out. I made this zoomed out.
Oh yeah. I'm just trying to fill mine because I have to use one color.
You're special. I wonder if you can continue on the thing.
I don't know.
Yep.
Oh, good.
But I can't zoom out as far as I did before, which is weird.
Interesting.
Maybe it depends on where you're standing? Yep. Whoa, that's weird. So, Mono! You can actually continue if you move your person? Oh wait, now it doesn't do it anymore.
No, it's not doing it for me now either. It's just the same.
It did for a bit, but I can continue if I want now. I can make it bigger. That's weird. That's a different black. Shit. Which black did I do? Come on. I wonder if you can continue. I don't know. 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 I
bet you can't remember which one it was.
There's too many. Okay, I got it. Tell me if you're done, so then I'll just stop.
I'm definitely not done. I'm still filling in spots. I still have to do the final details. I haven't even gotten details because I'm still filling
Oh,
one
Jesus.
color.
5 hours later. Nope.
I see.
Where you made the pixel shading effect.
Welcome back.
Ooh, what are you making?
Hmm?
Oh, she's asking me about why. I don't know yet. We'll see.
It's a whole Minecraft world.
Could be. You can make like a little
The whole
Mario
world.
if you want. A whole
Mhm.
new world.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but Mono, I figured out if you re-click the picture from a different
Uh-huh.
angle, you can actually sometimes make the pictures bigger if you're lucky enough.
Oh. See, what I just didn't like is it never let me draw the tail.
Maybe you can now.
Mm-mm.
You sure?
Yeah.
Re-enter it?
Yeah. It must just be the rock I chose, because this is like my limited space is just a square, basically.
I think mine too. Like, I can't make. I just made the giraffe bigger, but I can't make the.
Mine's like a portrait size, though, like if that makes sense. Yours is horizontal and Rain's is horizontal, but mine's just a little vertical
Oh my god!
portrait.
I just used the arrow keys.
Okay,
and now I
there we
can
go.
move it. You're done? Okay, no, I'll just stop.
It's fishing! Very nice.
Add to it.
What?
You can add to each other.
Oh no!
Beach?
Yeah.
It looks cool though.
Man, what the hell?
That looks so cool.
Can I add a fishy?
You can.
I like it.
A little guppy.
I was thinking of starfish. Not enough room. Momo's horse giraffe, right?
You got a fishy.
Yay! It's so cute! There's a little goldfish. Momo's gonna doctor mine. Put a starfish on the beach in pink. Or a blob with a fishing pole. Aw, it's got a heart. I like it. That was the only place I could put the tail, and I was like, that looks dumb on top of his head. So I was like, I didn't do it.
Right. Couldn't you put the tail on the bottom?
No. Well, let me. That's completely a little vertical piece. That's it. It's not like you guys. It's not horizontal. It's vertical. I picked the smallest canvas, basically.
I guess.
I mean, here's another canvas.
Are you continuing again, Rain?
She's still drawing.
Maybe just a little bit.
Who? What? Oh, hello there. Hi, Steffi.
Oh, hello there.
It is the same size as my first canvas. You're right.
Almost horse giraffe. Charlie the unicorn. Charlie. The shading effect? What shading effect? You mean with the outline?
That's as far over as I can go. Okay.
Oh, you're making a new one. Nice. I guess, of course, yeah, it's made for 4 players, so makes sense.
Yeah, so you get 4 walls. See. It made me think of shading outline of Charlie the Unicorn.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes,
Can we work
aliens.
on it together? No.
Be cool if we could.
Yeah, no, and you have to wait till the other one's done.
See.
We're not gonna talk about how wonky my shell looks, okay?
That's a huge shell.
It is.
It's the giant clam.
It's a little wonky looking, but it's okay. I think I'm gonna put this out. It's driving me
Just shade it out, like, from the bottom. Make it smaller.
I don't know. There we go.
Let me look at Mono's. Oh, she's still... With the little cow! Yes!
Here, I know what the cow needs so we can identify it's a cow. I don't know. Just like... Oh. Wrong thing. dairy cow. There you go.
There you go. It's a little bit nicer looking now.
Alright.
Oh my god, I love it.
That is so cute. Okay, let's go. They're all
We're
adorable.
predicting the future. Yeah, oh, I gotta go back and look at Rain's thing. Oh, there's the shell. Cute.
Oh, okay. She doesn't like start a thing.
No?
She just tells you a story though.
Oh. Aw, it's like a Lion King story.
Pacha first brought the lion into the world. She lived amongst the leaves, but her paws were awkward on the tiny branches. Mother, why did you give me such big paws? They're your paws. When Lion hunted in the trees, she often fell from the branches. Mother, why did you give me such bad balance? I did not. Angry Lion let out a roar and jumped to the ground below. If only I didn't have to hunt in the trees, Lion thought. She rested her big head on her paws and watched the antelopes run by. Then she had an idea. She moved softly to the edge of the glade. When a doe grazed nearby, she leapt out from the brush and took down her prey. After she had her fill, she found a nice cozy cave to take a nap in. Mother, Lion said, I'm not built to live in the trees. I'd rather live in the caves. I know. It's good to see that you do too. Hello, kitty! You get a Hello Kitty shaking its booty. Nice. Oh, so that's it? There's no more, like,
I don't know.
event?
Can we activate it or
I don't know. I don't think so.
is it him?
No, I think that was it.
Oh, I think that's it.
What?
We just told stories and drew on caves. I mean, we had a good time drawing on the caves.
Should we check just to be sure?
How do I dance again? There we go. There, now I'm dancing with them. There. Do the thing.
Check with the to hear the story of the lion. Main events painting. There's no judging. You are free to walk away. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
I love that.
I guess so. I see, now I would be sad because I bet her paintings aren't there later.
Oh, nice. We're back at home.
You what? How'd I get here? Where's my animal? Call my baby home so it doesn't get fleas.
Wait. Do I have potato seeds? Are they not in season? I have strawberry seeds and butternut squash seeds. Nice.
Tomato seeds are in season. It's just we don't have any.
I have seeds that are in season. The strawberry and the sesame or the butternut squash.
Well, I guess there's a wild tomato.
Yeah,
I wonder if that'll work. I wonder if the wild tomato. I wonder if the wild tomato will work. We're gonna find out.
Maybe.
We still need a coconut anyway, and then some other fruit or vegetable. Oh, I think it's the pomegranate. I got the pomegranate on me. There's like 5 million of those in here. We don't need those. An eye-catching,
and I still
sometimes
have the
edible
thing
mushroom.
for I had the meat.
Oh yeah.
A common mushroom, tender and
Let me
harmless.
just give one chicken leg to my little cutie.
Wild beets. See, we still have a few
I guess I
wild
can
things, but that's because that was before. Like, I bet if we got rid of our wild things, we'll never have wild things again.
Where's my dog? Yuki.
should.
Made tuna salad with egg. It's yummy. Sounds yummy. I'm so glad you finally made it.
Try
could
or
Put it in here. Because I'm smoking the fish that I just caught, so.
Medicinal herbs. Acquired.
And I can smoke them in the morning because it's bedtime.
Oh, it is. Sometimes I sleep with my parents. Sometimes I sleep in my own house.
oh, where do I put the poopies?
The black chest.
The black chest, yeah, at the bottom of the garden.
There you go. Sleepy time. Oh, wrong tent.
Dun, dun, dun. Now I want Doritos again. Just looking back at the events. I want Doritos.
Get the munchies.
I mean, I blame Wiggles because he did the on-screen Dorito thing.
We didn't contribute anything. That's okay. We did paintings instead.
It didn't really let us today. It took us back home. Momo hasn't confirmed her save.
Just waiting on you.
Waiting on me. Tuna salad with egg. Ooh. Hi,
Right?
You want
Gonna make me hungry again. Wiggles LOL. Wiggles LOLs and Jeff throws a Dorito in chat. Look at him. I think I can.
Well, it's raining, so we don't have the water.
Wait. Oh, we have
There's nothing to.
Finished working on an idea.
Yay! Probably the one I gave you. To go look. Look, what do you got for me?
Oh, it's still
Something about cheesecloth, I think.
Strain things in the fabric, yeah.
Oh, this guy's got a thing too. Zilk, on my way to the salt, I had an idea. What if I took resources to plants and traded them? Trading. Ooh, stock. Oh, he has all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I got something from Ada.
Has wild coconut milk.
Crafting.
Ostrich egg.
Mushrooms needed something different.
Seaweed.
Oh, we got a mushroom log too.
Butternut squash seeds I don't need. Can I put the flint in there?
Rock is done with the thing.
Can I take all his flint and give him rocks? Does that work? Or wood?
Yeah.
I'll try.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Actually, not
shit,
that.
It's the other way around. Fuck, I'm an idiot.
What'd you do?
You can actually buy herbs from her. I thought you would get shit.
I don't know how this works.
With her, it's
Gonna find out.
You exchange the hand thingies for herbs, and I thought I was giving her the herbs.
Oh.
You're not. Stupida. I guess I can put them back in the chest. We'll get it back anyway. I hate that you can't drop everything at once in the bucket.
Yeah, you can.
No, it says not a good deal. It tells you at the bottom. None of it's a good deal.
Like,
Oh yeah.
you do it, and then you can do X. Yeah.
He won't do any of it. He says it's not a good deal.
Oh, you have to meet in the middle. You see the little arrows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
You
good
have to trade
deal.
a lot with him.
Yeah. Almost fair. We can't have those two. I
What do
just
we
want to
need
know what this
most
Dried
rank-wise?
Wild Alma. I don't even know what it is. Yeah. Ostrich egg is very valuable. We'll be able to get those soon, though. Okay. Alright, I traded anyway. Just to do it. You forgot about your margarita? No! Where's my cheesecloth guy? He's not in the kitchen.
We have a mushroom thingy now.
What is this?
This is for herbs, but I think you need a minimum of something. That's why I asked like
Okay.
how many, or what do we need most? Maybe
I
we
don't
should.
know.
I don't have least of mint, I suppose. Try. Maybe
Maybe
it's a
you can
minimum of
okay.
4. I think it's a minimum
Let's see.
of 4 because I just have 3.
Experiment with the oregano.
I could try an oregano.
Yeah, we've got like 23 oreganos or something now.
Yeah, that's a lot though already. Try. Maybe it's the flower ones. I don't know. Maybe it needs seeds then for those. Like mushrooms.
They
you
made
can buy,
cheese.
obviously. Or maybe
Cheesecloth.
it's
Nick has finished an idea.
flower one. No. Don't know how to activate that one. Honestly, I tried a lot of.
Oh,
them.
you still can go get the lady the 4 sunflower seeds, but she's probably not there today. Because it's raining.
Oh, what about the mandrake?
Oh, she is, and she's closer. She's in like, we went to the caves. She's like right there on the right.
Who is?
Zeta, the one that you were gonna give the sunflowers to before.
Oh, okay, I'll come.
What is an herb grower?
Yeah. It is.
So we have to put the seeds in it.
Oh, okay. Let's see where Mono is. There? Okay, cool.
So I'm gonna
That-
use this.
But you have to go to the forest where we went before.
What? It didn't say you were in the forest. It says
I'm not.
But she is.
Yes, but she's right there near the edge, like right when you go in, so she's not very far. And then she could do the thing.
Do the thing. Oh, at the little tent? No.
I think she's at the little campfire in the forest up there. Yeah.
Oh, up there.
Yeah, there she is.
Discuss idea. Fuck! Where did I put the sunflowers?
By the way, I just put oregano into the herb grower.
Oh, you had seeds?
Ooh.
No, you just put the herb in it.
I
But it has
tried
to be
that.
Oh, and you just got a wild man tyke appeared.
I tried oregano. I tried the oregano.
It didn't like you.
You won't tell me if I have it.
Apparently, it didn't like you.
It was like
Oh,
you
what?
already did the mushrooms. Fuck off. That's what I thought.
Fine, we got it going anyway.
What?
We got it going.
Gotta go.
Okay, and I need more.
Brown
wood.
mushroom, more
I have
seeds.
to go chop some.
I got you some more butternut squash seeds.
Ooh. Everything's so.
I forgot to bring my ride with.
Oh, that sucks.
I can't ride my mama yet.
Oh.
She's,
Yay! Artist, you caught it too. When I get to the top of the hill, I can call my ride, but... There. That'll be waiting for me when I come out of the cave. I'm gonna try this again and try not to eat the items.
Ooh, just in time.
Beekeeping.
Yeah. I can't remember how I did it. Maybe I can talk to the turtle. Great work, Trell. Well, how do I put more offerings in here? I don't remember. Do you?
I like the little bison one. Oh.
Drop? Does that count? No. Nope. Do you remember
What?
how to talk to the turtle and drop the things off?
Armadillo? No, I have no idea.
Do I dance? I'm gonna be the highest level here before long. Uh-oh. Yeah, because you're level 3 already. I want to watch a horror movie. Oh no, it's late at night. You can't do that at night.
Yeah, she also apparently put 13 raccoons in my closet.
Oh,
Oh.
we can make the cheesecloth. Did you do it yet?
Nope, not
I
yet.
kind of remember things. Kind of, sort of.
Yes, I'm fine with that. Artist. Let's watch a farm together.
Maybe it's because we already did that one. I think we completed that offering.
Meat's done.
I found all the things.
You wanted to donate the meat?
Wanna watch one with me? I'll keep you safe. You would definitely have to keep me safe because I would be like squirming and biting my nails and I'd be like under the covers and then I'd be pacing.
Oh, my water bucket. I forgot. It's probably too late already.
She does that too. I can't sit still when I watch horror movies. It's just not a thing. She wants your commentary? Oh no. Do you do hilarious commentary the whole time you watch them?
I name it.
There's another what?
There's another
Cool.
little mammoth that trusts me.
Oh.
Okay, so we went this way. What's this
We
way?
need more mammoths. They're so cute.
One's also a girl.
Oh!
Oh, I
This
think
was
one
the
of them
next
is fleas
offering
again.
thing.
Satan has fleas. Oh, Satan was mine. That's right.
It's a fish!
I keep forgetting.
Oh no, the
Remember,
fish is
flea
there.
repellent. Okay, let's give him flea
I keep
repellent
forgetting
before-
that your Ibex's name, please.
I don't know where I'm
Satan's
going.
doing much better. Good.
Me and Mama are on the way back.
I turned into an owl.
Oh my god. It's been a long way home.
Help me! I'm an owl now and I don't know what to do.
What did you do?
I turned into an owl.
Ow.
Oh, what? How?
She's doing fancy things in the
in the caves and I don't want to be in here. Give you idea.
Oh jeez.
Is it a puzzle thing? Do I need to solve the puzzle?
I think it's a puzzle, but I think we already solved it. I just gotta remember how to get home. Get out of the owl form. I'm pretty sure we did all this, the thing.
Oh, you said Satan has fleas?
Yeah, I gave him the flea thingy.
Oh, okay, cool.
We can have a three-way with Rain. Rain? Rain, you like horror movies, right?
Yeah, sure.
Artist wants us to watch one with her.
Fuck yeah. Let's do it.
Oh no. That's like a stream in itself, just watching us watch a movie. You don't even have to know what the movie is, just watch us watch a movie. We're gonna like bite our nails and everything.
It's 1 a.m.
I'm just gonna hide under the blanket the entire time.
1 a.m.
I'm gonna pass out in the caves. Just saying.
I don't know if there's a. Is there a penalty? We didn't have one that time. But
I don't think so.
Out outside, or in your house.
The wrong place. I finally figured out how to go get Flint though. We're good now.
Isn't it just hitting rocks?
Not just rocks. You have to go for like special rocks. I think they changed that aspect to it.
I passed out
in the house.
Yeah. No. Mama, do you watch horror movies?
Not really. With friends sometimes.
But...
People always think like because I'm a spooky girl, like a gothy girl that I like those things, but I'm scaredy cat.
Me too. I'm scared.
I do like gore stuff, I suppose. And vampire. No, not the glittery kind.
I like real vampire stuff and werewolves. Yeah. I do like that, but I don't. Yeah.
Not the glittery kind.
Have you ever had any combos with coworkers where you learn a lot more than you ever wanted to? Probably. I can't think of an instant right offhand, but I kind of get what you're saying. Usually we're pretty good about not saying over-the-top personal information. That's weird, but not the glittery kind. Yes, Jeff, not the glittery kind. Those are fake vampires. Don't worry, I'll keep all of you safe and protect you, Artist says. She's gonna protect all of us.
I don't do paranormal stuff, and I don't do zombies really. But oh Mono. I challenged myself last week, and I tried to play 7 Days to Die, which is basically a zombie survival game. And the first hour I was in VC with people, I was screaming so much every time I heard a
I like psychological stuff most.
Into the house, and I just escaped the game. I was like, nope, Alt F4. Oh, so scary.
Says waiting on Rain and Momo to save.
I had to go to the bathroom. All right.
Oh no, you're fine.
I waited for.
Oh, I pushed save. I didn't even think about it.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's still waiting.
Do you know how I've worked with most of my coworkers so long that they will talk about all kinds of stuff and not care that I'm there overhearing. I guess in the medical field it's probably a lot different. You probably do hear a whole lot of stuff and people just overshare because it's a different industry. Stuff that would normally be like personal, invasive is probably totally not. Mushroom. That's so cool. What do you do with the mushroom?
It's growing. We're growing mushrooms.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Like, jeez.
Can't see anything. I think I have a thing to contribute, so.
Puddle.
This thing.
Oh,
There you
another
go.
one?
Any milk makes cheese.
Alright,
Ha!
Go up by our production.
I'm
Can
gonna.
you trust me enough to follow me, but not to? Okay, well.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's how my mammoth is too. I think I need to figure out a different spot for our,
Maybe the herbs need shadow.
Oh, I don't know.
Or for what? Sorry.
There's no milk?
No. I made it into sour cream.
What'd you do with the thing? Come back. Oh, there's two of those now?
Yeah, Momo had one too.
What?
The cheesecloth thing.
Oh, I made one. I said I made one.
Yeah.
And then you made one too?
I'm gonna make wild coconut milk cheese.
Okay. Shit, why not?
Oh, received some wild sunflower oil from Ada.
Sweet.
I could make 2 things of it, because that was the guy I traded with that guy.
Okay. Let's
Oh,
see.
what does
So I have
Enzo want?
Oh, he knows I'm here now. He wants to be milked. She, sorry.
Yeah, that was super random to hear, like, all of a sudden.
Sorry. I'm just making my IMAX. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure,
we need
okay.
20 flint. I have 5. Let's see what else we have in store.
Nothing in my inventory? Oh, did somebody else pick it up after I did it? Weird. I don't know where it went.
We have enough.
Oh, it didn't do it. That's why. So, well, okay, I missed a lot. There's a lot
New way
of
cooking.
houses, family you need to consider. Can you grow the other weed next? You guys gotta talk to artists. Well, today was a 20-minute combo about what gets them in the mood, and if they use any toys, oh my god. Shane, for you. It's an older horror film series that involves a guy getting lost in his house as it takes him on a psychological terror. Yeah, we don't talk about that kind of stuff at work. It's just called the house. I may have seen it a long time ago, Shane. I've had combos like that before. I also found out about someone's partner's abuse and other threatening to poison their spouse and plenty of others. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
I work in a safe place. It's available for video. Okay.
I watched, what's the one with the blind guy? There's a movie with a blind guy. And it was so boring, in my opinion. It's also, I think, a horror thriller. It's basically 3 kids trying to break into his house. And then he's a blind
Oh, jeez.
military or something. But I found it very boring, honestly.
See no evil. I got it in Artist. Why does it give you such a hard time, Artist?
I don't know how you do the fishing. It doesn't work for me. I'm walking into the water, but...
Oh,
You have to
have your hand
click.
axe equipped.
Ah, that's why. Wait, how did it work again?
You
Oh, you
hover
have to
over
click
the
them.
fish.
Reba?
Yeah, you hover over the fish, and then when it says catch now, you click it.
I hovered, nothing happened.
You have to like continue to hover.
Yeah, you have to hover until like turns so many
I
things
clicked
turn
this
green.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, move away. Fuck, right, okay. Got it.
It's done! We did a good job.
Oh shit, I keep clicking too soon. When I see the bars fill up,
The-
and I'm like, click.
I hate that all the weeds by the edge of the garden. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I've been keeping it that way so we don't like overexpand our garden and we're
Oh.
not able to water it anymore.
That makes sense. I don't plan on expanding. You're the only one that plants seeds, so.
Yeah, and waters them. Well, sometimes. I'll go back to
Alright.
Savannah and catch some more fish.
So how do you know when the cheese is ready? 1 hour remaining before I have coconut milk cheese. I'm excited. I want to see what it looks like.
Which
Yeah,
one is the dryer again?
That one.
Oh,
That's
the dryers.
that's the
hand
smoker.
roast.
Oh yeah, that's
Alright.
the smoker. The hand roast. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait, why? I have a porcupine that has like an arrow. And,
Oh yeah, it's a better quality one.
oh, okay.
And it's okay. It'll like dry and smoke that quality as well.
I need the porcupine now, so don't.
Okay, no worries. I'm
What
over
is
here
that?
cooking fish.
Garbanzo plant meat,
No, I'm so
wild
sorry.
sea kale juice,
I think I
wild
just killed
sesame
one.
oil, smoked rusks. New fish.
Fish.
Yeah,
Ray, I'm
Ah,
sorry.
you're such a fish.
I think I killed one of the cotton thingies.
that's okay. It happens. I'm not hurt by it.
Phew.
It just means I have one less thing to water.
What did you want to do with this sunflower oil? Because I got some.
Oh, you can hold on to it or sell it.
Sell it as in put it in the bin?
Yeah.
Put it in the bin.
Put it in the bin. I mean, it's probably a rare thing though, isn't it?
Well, I think I can make like, pretty sure I can make it as long as we have sunflowers.
Do we?
I think so.
I don't
You
know.
should have sunflower seeds. We've been planting them, but I don't know if we've harvested any. Same with tomatoes.
Oh, sorry. I have 8 sunflowers in my pot.
Did-
Are they going yellow? I guess so.
It
I mean,
should
it
be.
has the flowers and the mint stuff.
Yeah, you can put it in there. That's fine.
I'll put the
Not
sunflower oil in there for now as well.
Tomato.
Where does fur go?
Your cheese is ready, Mono.
Yay!
Wait, there's almonds in there, but there's almonds in here too.
Let's see what a cheese looks
Oh,
like.
yeah, you can move
Wow, coconut cheese. Ooh.
Wow.
No, I don't want to
Looks
do all
so
those things. It just
good.
looks like regular cheese.
That's it.
Yep, looks like a wedge of cheese.
Right off the roof, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Okay.
There. Now you might have something you can do something with. You got some cool stuff I'm dropping in there.
Oh, Chucky and Borcon are sad.
Why is that?
And olive!
What?
I can make it olive oil.
Yeah, we have
Mhm.
olives, yeah.
Mhm.
Two.
I love olives.
Yeah, we got those a while back when we went the thing. You know, there's 32 things of poop in here for you. Are you fertilizing the ground at all?
I am not. I told you I'm hoarding all of it.
Okay. So you're gonna wait until you have like a ton of fertilizer?
Yeah.
That was the one with the cane wrestler. I don't know what you meant, but that one came to mind. Huh? See no evil. Getting late.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my bunny.
I'll join soon.
Oh, wait.
Oh yeah, you're...
Fetch? It doesn't seem to trust us enough. What?
Oh yeah.
Teach
you
my
have to
bunny
look
to...
up some fetching.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I'll pay more attention to my pet.
Why do you think I have Mama following me around?
I usually do, but I forgot.
Because then I can, once I get her fully trusting me, I can also ride her.
Your doggo?
I can ride the wolf, right?
You can ride the wolf?
I mean, he's following me, so I hope I can.
Not necessarily.
I can't ride my bunny. There's no way.
But isn't the wolf lady riding the wolves too?
I don't think so. I didn't think that she was. But, I don't know.
Sleepy time.
See. Jeff, I tagged you in pictures to see if the one I found was the one you were talking about.
Kane the Wrestler, the movie?
Huh?
See No Evil. I think it's that one. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. I found it very boring, to be honest. Me and my friend just laughed the whole time at how stupid it was. And how easily they could have gotten to do stuff, or if they hadn't been weird and panicky at times.
Alright, one more day, then we sleep.
Then we sleep IRL?
Yes.
Oh. Sad.
I know.
Oh look, it's raining.
It's fun. It's amazing how fast 3 hours can go.
Yeah. I don't want to give wood to my dog. Can I just... Thank you. I mean, I wonder what happens at like the... There's like you see the dog, the purple paw, and then 2 hearts, and then there's another little thing there. I don't know what that is. On the like the animal husbandry one. Oh. Tara and Nokar.
A wild Shane kitten lurked. Good night, Shane. Likey, likey.
Contribute near the southern field. Ooh, let's go there. Seda wants to show you the happy bee home she has made.
Aww.
Where is it? Oh, she's not here today.
I didn't think you said bee. hive home thingy. I thought you said something else for a second.
What kind of home did you think I was saying?
No. I didn't think you said home at all. I didn't think you...
Home?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here. So what do we do? Sorry, I'm not gonna make it easy to crib.
Ooh.
Oh, they're building a well, I think.
Making it easier for
Sorry,
you
I
to
know.
contribute or something.
Yeah, they're building a well, I think, because she's making a.
Are making it easier to
list kind of
contribute
thing.
near this outfit. No, it's gonna be another contribution bowl.
Oh, it's a of course. But we
Just
don't
so
have.
you know, the goat cheese looks different. It looks like brie.
Brie. Sorry.
Where is... Oh, not visiting.
Can't say that normally, honestly.
So,
I think that
I'm gonna look real
inventory
quick.
is why it's so far
Oh
away.
yeah, we already went in there.
Oh, I have another tomato. I can put it in the hole where I killed the
So have you figured out what to do with all the fur yet?
Nope.
Wait, how many days is summer still?
28 total.
Okay. What were you doing in our house, mister?
Not ready.
Krak is nice too, but he's from a different tribe. He's from the Yukuans.
Is he romanceable?
Yes.
Ooh.
And Vala is cute too. There's two. Oh, she has two different eye colors. What's it called again?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, heterochromia.
Yeah, heterochromia. Yeah, it says if they're romanceable. So if you go to your journal and then to the people thingies, and it has a very big like romanceable. And you can click on it too, so you can see their pictures.
Oh wow, scene. Why did we get into a scene? That was
Wait, I
amazing.
didn't get a scene.
Jelrod,
Oh, I
thanks.
get a scene.
Jelrod, you're the best. You must be the best musician in the whole world. Just so talented. Hi, Thor! How you doing? It's so good to see you. It's a Delibird.
Oh, that sucks, Marcus.
Twitch on TV doesn't work well? I mean, yeah, you can't really chat and do stuff, but yeah.
I always put it on my TV and then I just
Can't argue there.
chat on my mobile.
Oh my god.
Hi, Bon? You're good too.
Shane did his learn.
Jelrod, can you show us how to play like that? Of course, but first, you need to do a few more practice drills.
Oh
Doing
my God.
alright. Got my
Is it AF?
surgery on Thursday, so trying to gear up mentally. Oh yeah. You're gonna have to
Guys,
like...
skip the convo choice.
You're gonna have to like stabilize everything. I'm still in the convo.
Yeah, you need to make a choice soon.
I skipped it.
Mono gets it soon, I suppose. Why
Are
do
you
skip it?
okay? You did great.
Choice to make.
Oh, yeah, click one of the other.
Rain skipped. Momo, you did great. Mal did. Are you okay? Each one of us said.
Yeah.
It's said. Of course, why wouldn't I be? I think you forgot I have a cave lion totem. So little things like that
You can
don't
go
bother
now.
me.
What a bitch.
Well,
You can go now.
I made up my mind about romancing her.
Yeah.
Don't do it anymore.
She's not.
She's tsundere.
Good thing
She's
I
like
can
the-
still play
the,
controller
I like you,
games.
but I don't like you.
I think you're still gonna feel it though. Oh my gosh. Just moving your thumbs, you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna feel it.
What is this about?
Thor's got surgery on his shoulder soon, and he's like, at least I can still play controller games. I was like, yeah, but you're still gonna feel it unless you're like...
oh, he just had it. It was on Thursday.
Yeah. No, got my surgery on Thursday, so trying to gear up mentally.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I missed the trophy.
I hope you can play them and not feel it. I hope you can play them and not feel it. Because I would not know what to do if I couldn't do anything.
Do we need more meats?
Let's see. I'm sure it'll go great though. And it'll be over with in no time.
We always need meat.
Oh, that's right. I was gonna talk to her. Oh. Crafts. Arcthesis tool can be upgraded. Arcthesis tool can be upgraded.
What are you?
I don't really need to
Oh,
upgrade
that's
them
your-
though.
That's your bunny.
Yeah. My bunny?
Yeah, your
I
bunny. I
mean-
couldn't figure out what it was for a second. The way it was sitting, it looked like something completely different. I don't know what it looked like, but it looked different.
I don't know where it went. Where is my bunny?
Forgot his name again.
It was following me, but it disappeared.
What was his name? No?
It'll be on this upcoming Thursday. Yeah. Well, I wish you the best. I hope it goes perfectly well and you heal really fast. I feel like you and Tex are like twins. He's still recovering from his. Why is my screen like insisting I type in OBS and not walk around?
Oh, weird. Where is he?
And I'm sure you're in good hands with Lemon there to help you. Where is Lemon?
There he is.
She talked about possibly playing with us tonight. I'm guessing she got busy though.
Wait, who did?
Lemon did.
Ghost?
Yeah. She doesn't have a save in this game yet though, but she has the game.
Right.
Oh yeah, they're definitely building a pot thingamajiggy.
Oh, yeah, they are.
What do you mean this doesn't fit? It said it was your favorite gift.
You want to move this stuff out of the way, because I'm gonna chop down this tree.
Oh, dislikes. Oh my god, I gave him his dislike gift. Oh, I'm so stupid.
Oh no.
Idiota.
What does Noke like?
Wait, you can change your look at Ukes. Did you know that?
Huh?
If you talk to Uke, you can change your look at his when you talk to him.
I believe it. Rigged? What's rigged now?
Oh wait, you need to. I think it costs contributions.
Why wouldn't it?
Dong.
Never mind.
Everything costs contributions.
Yes. I have
What?
2 flowers with him so I can dance with him.
Yeah, nice.
You did what?
She has 2 stars with Joe.
So you could dance with him?
So then
Yep.
Disney dance.
Oh, is that why this one asked me if I could dance or talk? Yeah. Oh, but he didn't want to because he's busy.
You just don't have enough. You have to have 2 with him.
Right, and I don't even know what to give him.
Which
Rocks?
One? Which one?
Noke. N-O-K-K. Knock, or however you say his name.
I don't know. It,
You definitely like if you just give
Yeah, but then you already So I just gifted someone something they dislike. I forgot
Yeah.
to look. I just
Well,
saw
it
the
doesn't
picture. I was
tell
like,
you.
oh, yeah. No, I already had given him once.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I thought, oh, he likes it, but that was because the other gift I did was that way, and I I mixed them up. Oopsie.
He only likes what he could eat or cook. Oh, so now I know what to do with the oregano,
If
maybe.
it says not visiting today, does that mean she is in a different like
Area, yeah.
Yeah.
Can,
It means
can she
she's
just
like
go there?
outside the. No, I think it means they're completely. When it rains, they're nowhere to be found. It seems.
Right, I see. Yeah, Zeta is nowhere.
Neither is Zenza.
You know what? Curious.
Oh, you can actually make the day duration longer if you wanted to. It says it's now on 15 minutes. Yeah, if you go into your inventory and then go to
Alright.
the little cogwheel.
Interesting.
Well, there's so much I haven't seen yet either. Like discoveries and...
Yeah. I mean, they've added a whole lot to this game since we really played it.
Yeah. I guess that's also why. Well, that could be nice to have seeds per season. Yeah.
Getting dark. I can't see anything. They left. I can't see where I'm walking. Probably because I'm not using my torch. Actually, we'll drop you off. Then... Can I share you yet? 4 days.
So there's actually another
Done.
cat that catches white or red meat. It's actually the cheapest to make, so it's kind of like a gamble.
Chocolate boar.
It's a
Chalky.
stone trap. I'll craft
Oh,
a
wait.
couple.
Well fed.
Is Chalky okay?
Yeah.
What?
Chalky, my board?
Yeah. I was looking at its heart
Should
levels.
he be okay?
I don't know.
I just sheared him is all. I didn't murder him.
Oh, okay.
I just shear them every now and then.
I actually kind of forgot he existed.
Oh, tomorrow's Ada's and Vlog's birthday.
Petrie is dramatic. He fell over again. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh no, definitely fallen. It's raining. You're gonna get out of the rain. Hello, bunny.
Bunny.
Pet. Pet the bunny 500 times.
You can actually bring them back to the stable and then... Oh, well, this is not the stable.
No, this is my house. Are you
Right?
staying the... Are you...
Momo,
Momo.
Like, this is not the stable. What?
Are you staying the night?
If you want me to. Can I?
No. If there was 2 beds, maybe, but yeah, it won't let you. Dang it. I don't even know if you can romance other players. I don't know. Here,
I don't think so. No.
let's see if I can give you oregano or something. Yeah, I can't even hand you anything.
No, you have to actually drop it. Rain did that earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, that bunny's so cute.
Pet the bunny.
And to make sure.
There you go. Yeah, I was trying to like yeah, I have to like
Once, huh? Because
Yeah.
you're clicking it? I don't know.
no. Maybe because they're not that good of friends with it yet. Because you probably only been petting the
I
dogs.
wanted to do the eye thingy, but it doesn't let me.
Oh no, I don't think you can inspect them.
Oh,
I
you
could
can't.
before, but then I
You
did the
can't in
hugs
the
instead of
house.
inspect.
You can't in the house.
It let me before though. That's kind of
So like if I leave the house with the bunny, like now, it'll let me.
Good time.
No, it won't. Never mind. Maybe because it's nighttime.
It's because it's following you. If it's following you, you can't inspect it.
right.
It's supposed to follow me back in the house.
I think you accidentally hit unfollow.
I did.
Oh shit.
Come back in here. There you go. Ah! Passed out by the bed again. I just like fell over right there. Hi, Puddles.
Maybe. Hello, sir. Oh, okay. Ow. Hurts a little bit.
So is that it? I think that's it. As much as I'd like to stay up, I have to go to work early in the morning, so.
Ew.
Yeah, so that's it for stream, guys. I will catch you guys next time. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, work. Ew. Ooh, Mama. Mama's after artist now. Oh, my ear.
There, you'll get a hug.
Aw, thank you for the hugs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I will catch you guys Friday. So I'll be around. I'll be in Discord. You know where to find me. Well, I did
Yes,
realize that's how
artist,
you
I
felt.
And remember, you're special.
Oh my gosh. That laugh though. Oh, you guys are awesome. But yeah. Y'all take care. Yep. All the loves. And I will catch you guys later. See. Bye. Good night.